Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all well. So, gonna talk a bit about the current state with UK and a lot of Western countries in general, really, because a lot of Western countries have been going through similar kind of issues with people's rights being taken away, and whether that be privacy, whether that be people's freedoms and stuff. And people are either gonna just leave the UK or they're just gonna have to just stay and just kind of put up with it or something. But it's just but people are saying Starmer needs to go or something. But I doubt that even if they got rid of Starmer, that a replacement would be any better. So it's just people thought that when they brought Starmer in that, at least it'll be better than having one of those, kind of sleazy Tories or whatever. But it's all just the same, right? So what happened is, I think 2023 was when they put through this online safety bill. So that was what initiated the whole kind of thing that we have now. This was all in motion for years now. Yeah, so thank you for the like, whoever that is. So this has been stuff I've been hearing about for a while, about talking about online safety bill and all that. And then Keir Starmer recently started implementing that. So it doesn't really matter who you vote in because they're all part of the same kind of like agenda, They're all. Hey Jamie, have you switched over to politics or something? Yesterday it was Nigel Farage, and now today it's Keir Starmer. Well, I'm just talking about whatever's the current stuff, and I just find that it seems to have been kind of like stuff that seems to be a bit more engaging, I guess. Because stuff I was talking about before doesn't seem to really kind of engage a lot of people, so I've kind of just decided to change things up a bit. So, but yeah, basically, it's all the same thing. Basically, is what I'm saying. It's all the two sides of the same bird. Waving two wings of the same bird. It's what the left and right wing are. It's like an illusion of choice, really. You don't really have a choice because it's like if we'd have voted Tories in, they would have probably just done the same thing because they'd already passed the bill. 2023 that was already passed. Then they implemented it a few months ago. So I don't think it would have really made any difference who got in. It's the system that's it's the political system that no one has a faith in, this kind of two-party system where we have this kind of illusion of choice that's just, there is no real choice, is there? In this system that we have that's just, this top-down authority that people don't really have a say in anything. They're just kind of told what to do and how to do it, told what not to do and how not to do it. We don't get a say in what we want. What do we want to see? How much, like say, for example, how much tax do we think that the mega rich should be getting and things like that, Because there's certain people who are, they just, it's like different rules for them kind of thing. They think that they can just, earn all this money, but yet really it's not really giving much back to society. So anyway, so is anybody still here? Don't know what's going on since we've gone quiet. But yeah, so decided to kind of change it up because, people seem to interested in talking about this kind of stuff, but I've not seen some bits of like, well, Liz Truss was saying some stuff that actually, some of it I actually agree with. There was a bit that was going on about fracking, and I don't know enough about all that stuff. Some say it's harmful, but then I've also heard that fracking's gotten a lot better with like, in terms of they've improved the safety of it or something. I don't know enough about fracking, but if it can be done in a safe way, that it could be a way of getting a efficient kind of fuel, I guess, like a gas or whatever. It's just that I don't know. There's been a lot of like protests and stuff about fracking and stuff. I mean, I remember I used to watch this. It was like a sort of alternative news kind of program, and they were also like kind of backing fracking and stuff, and they were saying that they think it's good or something. Because I've been hearing a lot of stuff that it's bad. That it's bad for the water table or something, but maybe it can be done in a way that's safe. But I don't know. It's just there's a lot of like debates and all that, but there's some things that like Liz Truss was saying about like the free speech and all that, and she was like literally only in for like a week or something. It seemed. I think she was literally only in for like a week or two or whatever it were. Like her reign was probably like the shortest on record. It's crazy. It was like, as soon as she was in, she was out. So I remember there was this whole mini budget thing, and I don't know, but like she's kind of like making out to be some kind of like rebel now or something. But I don't know what to believe. It's just, I mean, is she just another? I don't know. Like, I mean, she's saying some good things, but is she also kind of compromised? Because even sometimes some people who could be compromised could say some good things. They might have even started off with good intentions, but they might have some kind of people control over them. It's like with Donald Trump. It's like, I know some people love him, some people hate him, but I think that he's very much being controlled. Like he has people, like handlers, some call it, people who tell him what to say and when to say it and all that. Like there's certain narratives that they're there to push and what have you, but I don't really trust in politicians in general. I think they are generally quite corrupt and yeah. But that's like, kind of Liz Truss. It was, to talk about, free speech laws and all that, and talking about, things like woke ideologies and transgender ideologies and things like that, and how they're trying to kind of, make laws that are quite dystopian and all that are just taking away people's freedoms. People literally, having, say, thought crimes where someone getting, arrested for praying outside an abortion clinic. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, whatever your views are on all that stuff, I don't think that really matters. It's the fact that, someone could be arrested for that. It's not harming anybody, I don't think. That's their, religion. They have their right to do that, I believe. as long as they're not being violent towards anybody or anything like that, or harassing them. I don't think that is harassing or causing violence to anybody. And if that offends you, then that's your problem, I think, because they're not trying to like cause any harm to anybody. That's their religion, that's their beliefs. It's trying to tell them that they're not allowed to practice their religion. Of course, there's certain extremes, like you've got extremists and stuff. But the thing is, are they actually even practicing their own religion? I don't know. If a religion causes harm and stuff like that, then I think that's where I would draw the line. But as far as I'm aware, like praying outside of an abortion clinic is not causing harm. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but how is that causing harm? I don't think it is. Everyone's going to have their own opinions, but I think that's just a bit of a stretch, to say the least. It's just going crazy in this country, really, isn't it? People getting arrested over tweets and stuff. So yeah, it's just outrageous, really, isn't it? It was like Lucy Connolly, who, the only reason they let her out early, I think, was because there was so much uproar against it. It was really because it got into the headlines and stuff, and then what you're saying, 90 Ritesh 90. Who in your homes and your countries? What are you talking about? Anyway, but yeah, thank you for the like. But yeah, we're just people need to wake up and realize that voting is a waste of time. I know that might be a bit controversial to some people, but voting's just going to get more of the same results. Because it always I don't know what you're saying. I don't know, but it's like people keep voting and then they like complain because the person that they vote for doesn't do what they promise. So it's like they're saying it. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome is the first sign of insanity. It's kind of feel like most people are just insane, or they're just completely like delusional. Like they just kind of delude themselves into thinking that they can vote their way to change, but I don't think that it's ever really going to happen unless something really radical happens. Like something has to change. Like maybe we need some revolution or something, but it's like the lesser of two evils is still evil. And it seems to be at this point, there is no lesser of two evils, it's just evil. Like I said, Tories, they passed the online safety bill, and then then Labour, put it into an Online Safety Act. So they were just kind of following through with what the Tories had already kind of established back in 2023 when they were in power, back when Rishi Sunak was there. So it's just kind of, they just kind of follow on from what the other person did. So even if the other side gets in, it's not any different, really, is it? We're not really seeing much differences happening with it all. I mean, it's like with these tax hikes and stuff. I mean, would that really? Maybe that would have happened anyway. We just don't know. Like, there's not really much evidence that the two sides are any different at this point. Like, their policies are all pretty similar. They all are against, like, Tories and and Labour are all against free speech at this point. I believe they're all quite just against people's freedoms and people's rights. Like they were all pretty much, most of them were like pro lockdown, for example. Like you had, I mean, there were some slight differences where, say, I think it was back when we was in the tier systems. I don't know if you remember that in the UK, we had these tier systems where there was different restrictions in different tiers and stuff like that, and then Keir Starmer goes on about, oh, we need a circuit breaker lockdown or something, and then like it's just, and it said 3-week circuit breaker lockdown or whatever, and then but then the Tories ended up after a bit ended up locking us down for a month, I think. So there's really like not much difference in their policies and stuff. They're all pushing the same stuff. It's just that Labour was saying that we should have, locked down a bit earlier or something like that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just, they're just kind of saying, oh, well, they've fucked up and all this kind of shit. And it's like, but the thing is that we never had to really do any of that in the first place. Like, take a look at somewhere like Sweden, for example, and how they dealt with things. And I think that if we'd have kind of took more of that approach to things, would have been a lot better by trying to encourage healthier people to get exposure to the virus, and then kind of those that are more vulnerable should probably stay at home and get kind of their groceries delivered to them and things like that, or have neighbours give to them, things like that. There's ways that it could have been dealt with, and maybe certain events would have had to be cancelled, like very big events where massive amounts of spread that would have just made it spread too fast and put some strain on the healthcare potentially. But I don't think too much had to be done, really. You look at how Sweden did it. I don't think they ever went into a full lockdown the whole time, yet their cases were comparable to a lot of European countries that went into lockdown. You might argue about population densities and stuff, but that doesn't really seem to be the biggest factor in that. I mean, like you had somewhere like Ireland, which has a pretty low population density and had similar numbers. So when we actually look at the real data on these sorts of things, then you start to realize that that the governments and whatever advisors all full of fucking shit. It doesn't matter what side you're on. They push out a fucking bunch of bullshit data and whatever, trying to scare everybody. Instead of trying to get people to be healthy and trying to encourage healthy habits, things like that might have helped, perhaps, to actually encourage people to go to the gym, maybe, something like that. But instead, they actually shut the gyms down at a time when going to the gym would actually possibly save your fucking life. But they want to just scare everybody, which, decreases your immunity when you're stressed out like that. A lot of people are stressed out. A lot of people would have been just a lot of uncertain times, a lot of just people in a lot of whether that was fear or whether just with the whole lockdown situation, people just feeling isolated. That can really mess with your health as well. And it's just kind of sick what they did. Like, as we mentioned this the other day, where somebody got unalived themselves because they couldn't go to their grandfather's funeral, and this is a very young person that this happened to, and then they had to change the rules after that a little bit. But it should never have got to that point in the first place. What the government does is just absolutely just treasonous. And it doesn't matter who's in. It's like, I think even if Labour got in, I think they would have been pretty draconian as well. I mean, they're all pretty bad. Like, I remember there was this thing in like New Zealand where they were like putting people in camps and stuff. Now, actually, they didn't really have that many lockdowns, if I remember, but they had these localized shutdowns and stuff. But I don't think any of that was actually necessary. Like all these passports, I think it was actually a precursor to like digital IDs is what I think they were doing that for. Getting everyone to kind of use some kind of, use some app to show that they've either had the injection or had a negative test. It's trying out these new technologies, seeing how people respond to them. So I don't think that they have really our best interests at heart, do you? They're just trying to get everyone to submit. And then they tell everyone that these certain injections are safe and effective, but they've tried to kind of bury any evidence of any kind of adverse events, or they'll downplay it and say that, oh, it's just very rare or something like that. It's like the narrative kept changing. At first, safe and effective, then it went to rare complications, to then being like, this is actually like, something that happens quite often with these things, where there's certain, kind of complications that people are getting, like people getting myocarditis and all sorts of issues after, getting a dose of it. And, people for so long were just kind of in denial about it. Either, that maybe they either got affected by it themselves, or they knew someone that was affected by it, then that swayed their opinion. But yeah, it's just they try to shame people for not wanting to take part in it, saying that they were super spreaders or whatever kind of crap that they say, saying that they are a danger to society. It's kind of like when they sort of label the, people as far right extremists who just are sick of all the immigration stuff. They're just sick of all of that, really. But all of the people just coming in and getting a free ride. Anyway, I might have to restart the live because there's just not really much going on in here. I don't know. I thought maybe some more people might have shown up, but oh well. Maybe I'll have to just go off and come back late or something. I don't know. It's miserable weather today, guys. It's I might do a gym session later. Yeah, just this time of year, just weather's generally not very good in this country. That's the thing. It's like, the weather's not even good most of the time here. It's either cold, miserable, or even when it's hot, it's like a humid hot. It's it's just this humid heat in the UK that's, it doesn't, it's, I don't know. Whereas people say that in other countries that the type of heat that they get is a lot more. It's a lot more kind of comfortable kind of heat. Anyway, so is everybody okay? How are we doing, everybody? I hope you're all well. Yeah. I don't know. There's no one here, so I'm gonna get off.